After the age of 60, something starts to shift in the body that most people don't fully understand until they experience it firsthand. You might notice stairs feeling a little steeper, getting out of a chair taking a bit more effort, or walks around the block leaving you more tired than usual. These aren't just signs of getting older. They're specific physiological changes happening inside your muscles and nervous system. And here's the good news. Those changes are measurable, reversible, and most importantly, manageable if you know what's driving them and how to respond. Muscle loss with age is known as sarcopenia. It's not sudden and it's not uniform, but it does follow a clear pattern. Around the 6th decade of life, we start losing roughly 1–2% of muscle mass per year, and strength can decline even faster, up to 3% annually. That may sound small, but over 5 to 10 years, the cumulative loss is substantial. You're not just losing muscle volume, you're losing power, coordination, and the communication between your brain and body. The reason that matters isn't just aesthetic. This muscle loss directly affects balance, reaction time, and your ability to stay upright and independent. Now here's where it gets interesting. The loss of leg strength isn't just due to muscle fibers disappearing. It's also about the decline in neuromuscular signaling. That's the communication pathway between your brain, spinal cord, and muscles. These pathways are responsible for firing muscles quickly, accurately, and with enough force to keep you stable. When you don't use these circuits regularly, or when your body lacks the right nutrients to maintain them, they weaken. This is why people who stop moving consistently begin to feel slower, more fragile, even disoriented when moving quickly. But you're not stuck with this fate. The neuromuscular system is incredibly plastic. It can adapt, rewire, and strengthen even into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. What it needs is activation and the right biological support. The first part of that support, nutrients, not just food in general, but very specific vitamins that directly feed the machinery of your muscles and nervous system. That's why today we're not talking about protein or exercise alone. We're zooming in on 3 vitamins that science shows can dramatically accelerate leg strength gains when paired with even moderate physical movement. These vitamins aren't magic pills. They're biological switches, molecules that tell your system to operate efficiently, recover faster, and build back stronger. When your body lacks them, no amount of walking or squatting will create meaningful progress. But when you restore them, you shift your body into a state of regeneration. Your muscles become more responsive, your balance improves, you feel more confident standing, walking, even lifting objects that used to seem too heavy. You might be wondering, how quickly can this work? Clinical studies show that when these deficiencies are corrected, improvements in leg strength and stability can appear within just a few weeks. That's not a vague motivational idea. It's a measurable biological reality. And in seniors over 60, the return on investment is even higher because the gap between current nutrient levels and optimal levels tends to be wider. So, if you've been feeling weaker lately, if you've been avoiding stairs or depending on chairs with arms just to stand up, understand that there's a reason behind it, and more importantly, there's a way to change it. Rebuilding leg strength isn't about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming control. It's about unlocking a version of yourself that feels strong again, stable again, and unafraid of movement. And it all begins by understanding what's really happening inside your muscles and giving your body exactly what it needs to adapt. Let's begin where it matters most, with the nutrients that activate this transformation. When we talk about getting stronger after 60, especially when it comes to the legs, we're not just talking about building muscle for the sake of appearances or improving performance in the gym. We're talking about maintaining the most fundamental aspect of your independence, your ability to move freely, safely, and confidently through your daily life. Leg strength, in many ways, is one of the most powerful predictors of how well you'll age. It determines how resilient you are to falls, how easily you can recover from injury, and even how long you're likely to live. Most people think about heart health, blood pressure, or cholesterol levels when they think of longevity. And those are important, but what doesn't get nearly enough attention is the direct link between lower body strength and mortality risk. In fact, research shows that leg strength is a stronger predictor of long-term survival than almost any other physical marker. Why? Because your legs aren't just responsible for movement. They are a signal of your body's overall energy systems, your metabolic health, your nervous system performance, and your ability to coordinate multiple systems at once. Now, let's look at what happens when leg strength starts to decline. It usually doesn't feel dramatic at first. Maybe you feel a little less steady on your feet. Maybe you hesitate before stepping off a curb, or you avoid taking the stairs when you used to climb them without a second thought. But those small hesitations start to compound. Your nervous system begins to register movement as risky, your muscles fire a bit slower, and without regular use, your leg muscles atrophy, meaning they shrink and lose function. When this happens, even small daily tasks become harder. Standing up from a low chair, lifting groceries, keeping your balance in the shower. And what makes this dangerous is not just the difficulty, it's the risk of falling. For adults over 60, falls are the leading cause of injury and loss of independence. One fall can lead to hospitalization, surgery, and months or even years of rehabilitation. In some cases, the individual never fully recovers mobility. But all of this is preventable if we intervene early and consistently. Strengthening the legs isn't about lifting heavy weights or doing hours of exercise. It's about restoring functionality. It's about training the muscles, the tendons, and most importantly, the nervous system to work together again. And the incredible thing is that the body remains capable of adaptation well into the 60s, 70s, and even 80s. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, doesn't disappear with age, but it does require stimulation. That's where movement and targeted nutrients come together. When you combine basic resistance training, such as bodyweight squats, chair stands, or walking up an incline, with the right support from vitamins and minerals, you don't just slow muscle loss, you reverse it. You rebuild the connections between your brain and your body, you sharpen your balance, improve your gait, and regain that crucial sense of physical confidence. It's not about being able to run a marathon. It's about being able to walk across the room without fear, carry your grandchild without strain, or step into the tub without hesitation. So if you've been underestimating the importance of leg strength, it's time to reframe it. This isn't just about health, it's about freedom, the freedom to move when and where you want, the freedom to stay in your home, take your own vacations, handle your own routines, and that freedom starts with action. You don't need to wait until something goes wrong to begin. You can start strengthening your legs today, right now, by paying attention to how you move, what you fuel your body with, and how you challenge yourself in small, consistent ways. Because the strength in your legs is the strength that carries your life forward. Let's talk about the first vitamin that plays a massive role in rebuilding strength, especially in the legs, vitamin D3. This isn't just a vitamin that supports general health. It's a hormone-like compound that directly affects how your muscles contract, how your bones hold up under pressure, and how your nervous system communicates with your body. And yet, it's one of the most commonly deficient nutrients in adults over the age of 60. That deficiency doesn't just lead to low energy. It leads to weaker legs, poor balance, and a significantly higher risk of falling. Vitamin D3 works like a switch. When your body has enough of it, your muscles are more responsive, your reflexes sharper, and your bones better able to absorb the force of everyday movement. That means standing up, walking, stepping over obstacles, and even catching yourself if you trip becomes easier and safer. But without it, the signaling between your brain and your muscles becomes sluggish. Muscles lose tone, bones lose density, and the result is that even light activity starts to feel like hard work. That's not because you're getting older, it's because your biology is missing a key ingredient. Now, you might assume that if you spend time in the sun, you're covered, but that's not always the case. As we age, our skin becomes less efficient at synthesizing vitamin D from sunlight. Add in sunscreen, clothing, and limited outdoor exposure, and even people who live in sunny climates can still end up deficient. That's why blood testing is so important. When you measure your vitamin D levels, you're not guessing, you're making data-driven decisions to support your strength. Studies consistently show that restoring optimal D3 levels leads to improvements in muscle strength, especially in the legs. People over 60 who begin supplementing with vitamin D3 at the right dosage report better balance, fewer falls, and even quicker walking speeds. That's not just a placebo effect. That's the vitamin in regulating calcium absorption, improving neuromuscular control, and strengthening the bone matrix that supports your entire lower body. One of the most overlooked benefits of D3 is its impact on fast-twitch muscle fibers. These are the fibers responsible for quick movements, like catching yourself when you stumble or stepping off a curb with control. As we age, we tend to lose these fast-twitch fibers faster than the slow-twitch ones. But vitamin D3 helps preserve and even enhance their function, making you more agile and reactive. To be clear, this doesn't mean taking mega doses randomly. It means finding your baseline through a simple blood test and supplementing strategically, often between 2,000 to 5,000 IU daily, depending on individual needs and levels. And ideally, pairing D3 with K2, which we'll talk about shortly, so the calcium it helps absorb ends up where it belongs, in the bones, not the arteries. Rebuilding strength after 60 doesn't require overhauling your life. It starts with identifying the small, critical gaps that prevent your body from functioning at its best. And for most people, that first gap is vitamin D3. Fill it, and you give your body the green light to move, to grow, and to stabilize once again. If you're going to take vitamin D3, and you should if you want stronger legs, there's another nutrient that absolutely must be paired with it, vitamin K2. This pairing isn't optional. It's essential because D3 opens the door for calcium to enter the bloodstream, but K2 decides where that calcium goes. And that distinction makes all the difference between becoming stronger and unintentionally increasing health risks. Without enough vitamin K2, calcium can be misdirected, meaning instead of going to your bones and helping you build strength, it can end up in soft tissues like arteries or joints, where it causes more harm than good. K2 acts like a traffic controller. It activates specific proteins, like osteocalcin, that guide calcium directly into the bone matrix, where it's needed for density, structure, and resilience. This matters deeply when you're trying to reinforce the legs because your bones are the framework that muscles attach to. If the foundation is weak, the structure on top can't function properly. That's why rebuilding leg strength isn't just about muscle, it's about supporting the entire skeletal system behind it. One of the least talked about realities of aging is that bones often become more porous, more fragile, not because you lack calcium in your diet, but because your body isn't directing it efficiently. That inefficiency is where K2 becomes powerful. It ensures that every bit of calcium you absorb, whether from food or supplements, ends up building stronger legs, hips, knees, and ankles instead of clogging blood vessels or stiffening the joints. K2 is most commonly found in certain fermented foods like natto, a traditional Japanese dish, as well as smaller amounts in aged cheeses, egg yolks, and organ meats. But unless these are regular parts of your diet, you're likely not getting the levels required to support optimal calcium metabolism. That's why supplementing with K2, specifically in its MK7 form, is often the most effective and sustainable option, especially when it's taken alongside D3. Now, what's interesting about K2 is that its effects go beyond bone health. By reducing calcium buildup in arteries, it also helps maintain better circulation, which means oxygen and nutrients reach your working muscles more efficiently. Better circulation equals better performance and faster recovery, two things that become more important the older you get. You'll feel the difference not just when exercising, but in daily tasks like walking, climbing stairs, or standing up from a seated position. It's not about feeling superhuman, it's about feeling stable, strong, and supported from within. What makes this pairing so impactful is how seamlessly they work together. D3 boosts calcium absorption, K2 ensures its proper placement, and your legs, supported by stronger bones and more responsive muscles, begin to regain function at a noticeable pace. This isn't guesswork. It's a coordinated biological strategy grounded in how the body actually operates when you give it what it needs. Strength doesn't just return from effort. It returns when effort is aligned with biology. And vitamin in K2 is one of the most overlooked keys to making that alignment happen. There's one more vitamin in like mineral that often gets overlooked when people talk about building strength, especially in the legs, and that's magnesium. If you've ever experienced muscle cramps, restless legs at night, or felt unusually fatigued after light activity, there's a good chance magnesium levels are part of the problem. It's involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, and many of those reactions directly impact muscle function, nerve communication, and recovery. When you move, whether it's walking, climbing stairs, or standing from a chair, your muscles contract and relax in a coordinated rhythm. That rhythm depends on calcium to initiate the contraction and magnesium to help muscles relax afterward. Without enough magnesium, muscles can become tight, twitchy, or fatigue too quickly. It's one of the reasons some people feel like their legs are working harder than they should during basic tasks. Their muscles aren't recovering between each step or movement the way they're supposed to. But magnesium doesn't stop at muscle function. It also plays a huge role in restoring energy. That's especially important after 60, because as we age, our cells become less efficient at producing ATP, the primary energy currency of the body. Magnesium supports the enzymes involved in ATP production, so when levels are adequate, your body generates energy more efficiently. That translates into less fatigue, more stamina, and better overall endurance throughout the day. And then there's the sleep connection. Restorative sleep is essential for muscle recovery. It's during deep sleep that growth hormone is released, tissue is repaired, and neural circuits are strengthened. Magnesium has a calming effect on the nervous system, which helps promote deeper, more restful sleep. If you're not sleeping well, your muscles don't get the time they need to rebuild, and any effort to gain strength is limited. Getting magnesium levels optimized can help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer, which creates a powerful cycle of recovery and growth. There are several forms of magnesium, but not all are absorbed equally. For muscular support and nervous system balance, forms like magnesium glycinate or magnesium malate tend to be the most effective. They're gentle on the stomach and highly bioavailable, meaning your body actually uses what you take in. When magnesium is combined with D3 and K2, you're not just fueling the muscles. You're activating the systems that allow them to function at their peak. And when your muscles work better, your legs get stronger, and your confidence in movement starts to return day by day. Once these key vitamins, D3, K2, and magnesium are in place, there's one more step that can accelerate your leg strength results, and that's intentional movement. But not just any kind of movement. We're talking about targeted, low-impact, functional movement designed specifically for older adults to wake up the neuromuscular system and rebuild the brain-body connection. This is the kind of movement that doesn't exhaust you, it energizes you. It teaches your body how to coordinate, stabilize, and respond with more control and power. even after years of inactivity. The science behind this is straightforward. When you perform movements that challenge balance, coordination, and strength together, like standing from a seated position without using your hands, stepping laterally, or practicing slow controlled squats, you're forcing the brain to engage with the body in real time. Every repetition strengthens not just the muscles, but the neural pathways that control them. And those pathways are what prevent trips, stumbles, and falls. Even simple routines like 10 minutes of chair stands, heel raises, or step-ups onto a low platform can make a dramatic difference. It's not about volume, it's about consistency and intention. The nervous system thrives on repetition. When you repeat controlled, quality movement every day, you're not just getting stronger. You're telling your body, this is safe, this is normal, and this is who we are now. Pair that with the right nutrients and the results begin to build exponentially. Vitamin D3 helps the muscles fire correctly, K2 strengthens the bones that support them, and magnesium ensures smooth contraction and recovery. With that foundation, each movement becomes more productive, you feel more stable, your reactions are quicker, you're not guessing each step, and what often surprises people is how quickly their confidence returns. When your legs feel strong, your posture changes, you walk taller, breathe deeper, and begin to trust your body again. That trust shifts your entire mindset. You go from avoiding movement to seeking it. From fearing a fall to feeling grounded in your steps. That's a powerful shift, and it starts with the decision to move, not recklessly, but with precision and purpose. You don't need to do hours of exercise. Just 10 to 20 minutes a day of consistent, focused movement can activate the transformation. Movement, supported by the right nutrients, is the formula for reclaiming strength and independence after 60. So if you're over 60 and looking to rebuild strength in your legs, quickly, effectively, and safely, it starts with a shift in strategy. This isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. Vitamin D3 primes your muscles and bones for action. K2 ensures that calcium strengthens your frame instead of weighing it down. Magnesium powers the rhythm of movement and recovery. And when these are combined with purposeful, daily movement, you create the perfect environment for growth, stability, and renewed energy. This isn't a theory, it's a biological truth. Your body is still capable of getting stronger. It's still wired to adapt even now. The key is giving it the tools to do so. Start today, fuel it right, move with intention. And you'll be surprised how quickly strength returns, not just in your legs, but in your life.